Rootborn Chronicles, Season 4, Episode 8. The snake morning arrived quietly among the highest branches. The great lowering basket slowly descended through the towering canopy. Moments later, Shelia stepped onto the forest floor. The rootborn tending the rope smiled. "I'll be here." Shelia nodded with a smile. "I won't be long." She followed the familiar path toward the river. The morning air was cool. Birds sang from the treetops. The gentle current flowed between the ancient roots. Soon, she reached a smooth branch where she had left her gift. She stopped. The flowers were gone. Shelia looked around. The branch was undisturbed. No broken twigs. No scattered petals. Nothing. She smiled softly. Looking across the quiet water, she whispered, "I'm glad you found them." Satisfied, she turned and walked back toward the waiting basket. The forest kept its secret. Builders inspected the living highways. Gatherers prepared their baskets. Healers sorted herbs beneath woven shelters. And beyond the safety of the village, a hunting party entered the deeper forest. It seemed like another ordinary day, but the forest often reminded the rootborn. Ordinary days could change in a single moment. Enoch traveled with several young hunters. They were no longer children. Each had trained with the spear. Each had learned how to follow tracks, read broken branches, and move quietly through the forest. But training beneath the village canopy was not the same as walking beyond it. Out here, the forest gave its own lessons. One young hunter examined a set of tracks pressed into the moss. "Rabbit?" Enoch knelt beside him. He studied the marks carefully. "Too deep." The young man looked again. "Then what made them?" Enoch pointed toward a broken stem nearby. "Something heavier." He stood. "And something passed through here recently." The hunters tightened their grips around their spears. Not from fear, from awareness. They continued beneath towering roots and fallen limbs. Sunlight appeared only in scattered patches. Every sound carried farther beneath the thick leaves. The scrape of bark, the tapping of insects, the distant cry of a bird. One of the hunters smiled. "The forest is quiet today." Enoch looked around. "No." He listened carefully. "It has become quiet." The young man stopped. Moments earlier, birds had been calling from every direction. Now, nothing. A branch shifted overhead. Before anyone could look up, something struck. A massive snake dropped from the leaves and wrapped itself around one of the hunters. The young man screamed as his spear fell from his hands. The snake's body tightened around his chest. Once, twice, then again. The hunter struggled to breathe. The others froze. They had trained for danger, but nothing had prepared them for this. "Do not pull him." Enoch's voice cut through their panic. He stepped toward the snake, its head lifted, its mouth open. A sharp hiss echoed beneath the trees. Enoch drew his stone knife. One of the hunters raised his spear. "What do we do?" Enoch never looked away from the snake. "Keep his eyes on you." The hunter hesitated, then slammed his spear into the ground beside the snake's head. The snake turned toward the sound. Its coils tightened again. The trapped hunter gasped. Enoch moved. He stepped over the twisting body, found the thickest coil wrapped around the young man's chest, then drove his blade into it. The snake thrashed violently. Its tail whipped across the forest floor. Branches snapped beneath its weight. Enoch held on. He pulled the blade through the heavy muscle until the coil loosened. "Again!" he shouted. The hunter struck the ground once more. The snake lunged toward the sound. Enoch cut deeper. The coil opened. Two hunters rushed forward, grabbed their companion, and pulled him free. The snake turned toward Enoch, his wounded body twisted across the forest floor. Enoch had only enough time to raise his knife. Before it could strike, three spears slammed into the earth between them. The hunters stood together, no longer frozen, no longer waiting to be saved. The snake recoiled, then dragged its wounded body beneath the fallen leaves and disappeared into the darkness beyond the roots. No one followed. For several moments, no one spoke. The injured hunter lay against the moss, fighting for breath. Enoch knelt beside him. "Look at me." The young man opened his eyes. Slow breaths. He obeyed. One breath, then another. Pain crossed his face, but his breathing slowly steadied. "You came back for me." Enoch gently shook his head. "We never left you." The hunting party abandoned its journey. Two hunters supported their wounded companion as they made their way home. Word traveled quickly through the village. Builders left the walkways. Gatherers set down their baskets. Families gathered as the hunters crossed the final living bridge. The healer hurried forward. "What happened?" "A snake," one hunter answered. "It caught him before we saw it." Another looked toward Enoch. "He would have died." The villagers fell silent. "He would have died." But Enoch went into its coils. Enoch lowered his eyes. There was no time to think. Elder Ezra stepped forward. That is when a person's heart is revealed. The healer carried the wounded hunter beneath her shelter. His injuries would take time to mend, but he would live. That evening, the story spread through every tree of the village. Some told of the snake's size. Others spoke of the blade in Enoch's hand. But the young hunters remembered something else. Enoch had not ordered another man into danger. He had stepped forward himself. Later, Elder Ezra found Enoch standing quietly near the edge of the village. "You saved a life today." Enoch looked toward the healer's shelter. "We all did." Ezra smiled. "The others followed because you showed them how." "I only did what was needed." Ezra nodded. "That is what makes it worth remembering." Enoch remained silent. Far below, the forest moved quietly beneath the darkness. Danger had come without warning. Fear had frozen trained men where they stood. But one Rootborn had placed another life before his own. The village would remember what happened beneath those branches, not because Enoch sought honor, but because when danger came, he did not think of himself. The elders would remember this day, and it would become another chapter in the chronicles of the Rootborn. If you're enjoying the journey, like, subscribe, and share. Welcome to RC Best, where stories and ideas come alive. Don't miss the next chapter. Every episode reveals another piece of the world.